Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Jacob Wile too.
And welcome to another star-studded episode of Tiki's Universe. That's right, it's the show where we go over a whole myriad of animated programming for your viewing pleasure, including DuckTales, Big Hero 6, eventually Milo Murphy's Law. Sometimes, occasionally, we talk about a weird, obscure show called Steven Universe. But most importantly, tonight we're here to talk about Star vs. Force of Evil, Jacob, and we've just got our first holiday special from Star vs. Force of Evil, or should we say holiday Spellcial? Yeah. All right.
Yep.
So this was an interesting couple episodes, Jacob. At first, I was kind of let down that it wasn't like just a big 22-minute bonanza where, they really could have stretched it out to just be one story. But I don't know. I think both these episodes kind of worked in their own right. So by the end of the second episode, let's just say when I saw that we were essentially getting a sequel to Spider with a Top Hat, which, Jacob, I believe that was, if not the worst episode of the series for me, at least in strong contention to be the worst of the series.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, seeing another episode in that style, I think Holiday Special definitely improved on Spider with Top Hat, in terms of seeing star spells. But let's build to that. Let's first talk about Stump Day. So what do you think of Stump Day?
I thought it was kind of interesting to see an actual Muni tradition on Muni itself. Didn't involve the segregation of monsters.
Right. That was refreshing for a change.
Now, I'm mainly referring to the fact that the last time we heard of a Mumin tradition on a holiday, it was Muni-pendence Day.
Mm.
And it was nice to actually see a pleasant one for a change.
Yeah, this episode ticks off quite a few Christmas special tropes that Dragon and I like to break down on Christmas in July. But it's got a couple really interesting outside the box ones. One of my favorite ones, Jacob, that you just mentioned is the whole idea of basically doing a Christmas special, but framing it around another, basically a fictional holiday. Of course, I think we all know the most famous example of that.
Yep. Summerween.
Oh, well, no, actually, Summerween is a great example, Jacob, but I was actually referring to a much more nefarious example. I was referring to the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Oh. I'm just saying, I was just going by considering you're big Gravity Falls fan. That's what I thought you were talking about.
Oh, Summerween is one of the best Halloween specials of all time. I still stand by that. Don't get me wrong. But, no, I'm just saying in terms of, it's funny that we think of, the Star Wars Holiday Special. It's so bad, but it did kind of jumpstart that thing of, an interesting kind of device for a fictional show to have a holiday special would be to work at a fictional holiday, which, this Star vs. Force of Evil does quite well. But Jacob, I don't even want to call this a trope, and I was quite pleased with it. And I'm quite pleased with it, is the idea of people who, have birthdays around holidays.
Yeah, it's it's well known that a lot of people have birthdays around holidays. I've never really seen it done before in a lot of anime and a lot of shows before.
Jacob, my birthday's December 11th, so I feel like I just barely passed the cutoff on that.
That's actually the same birthday as my dad.
Oh, nice.
My birthday sometimes falls on Thanksgiving.
I had a great grandmother who was born on Halloween, so that was kind of cool.
Yep.
Anyways,
technically, my 21st birthday was on Thanksgiving.
Nice.
I mean, I'm 23 now, so that was a few years ago, but still.
Oh. No, but as you said, Jacob, I think it's really refreshing that this episode kind of, brought a spotlight on, okay, it's my birthday, but we don't ever celebrate my birthday on my actual birthday.
Do you know, I remember why? Because it will anger the Stump.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
The Stump was definitely an interesting aspect of it. Like, it's like it tells they kind of frame it like it's like Santa Claus, where it's like doesn't where some people believe in it, some people don't, and all that.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I like how Jana puts it, which is in pretty logical terms to how adults treat Santa, which is basically like it's something that adults make up to make kids, slightly more well behaved around the holidays.
Yep, pretty much.
Uh,
But
and
it's just
I guess another trope that this episode hits on is the idea of, like believing in Santa Claus.
yep. Well, at least in the slight spoiler alert here. Star's beliefs are very well founded, as we terrifyingly figure out.
And we also get an evil Santa Claus, Jacob. So that's kind of like ticking the Futurama box.
Yep, semi-murderous holiday thing.
Right, right. God. Oh man. Yeah, lots of interesting things going on. Like I said, Jacob, I think I do like the holiday special that we get that we'll talk about in a minute. But I thought this episode, like, I really think they could have stretched it out to 20 minutes and really made it something special. Not that this episode isn't good. I just think it had the potential to be like a nice 22-minute, like full Christmas sized episode.
I mean, yeah, I would kind of see that too. It's kind of like the same complaint with a Hungry Larry. And
Yeah, I guess so. It is very similar in that regard. Yeah.
I mean, especially the whole kind of horror aspect of it, because that stuff was actually. Let's just take it for face value, folks. The show managed to make a Stump scary.
Yep, that it did.
Another kind of trope that you mentioned is like holiday tensions.
Oh yeah, which this episode very much plays on, as does the next episode, which, as I said, we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of funny to see like some of the reunion of have like some even some people came back like they brought Starfan 13 even for some reason.
For some reason, yeah, randomly for like one bit just to see like, hey, look, she's there.
It's like I can understand Jana, Tom, and Kelly, even Ponyhead, but Star first. I mean,
And Tad, who still hasn't moved out.
yes, for somehow for some reason. I thought he moved out in Lava Lake Beach though.
I don't know.
Unless this episode aired out of order.
Possibly. Well, no, it didn't air out of order because the whole joke is like, you still haven't moved out yet?
All right. Interesting.
And
But
of
yeah,
course, we get a nice little. I like how we've built upon Star and Tom kind of becoming friendly with each other, and now, now their rivalry seems a lot more authentic than it was back in the first season, back when Tom was like a bit character.
yeah, like his friendship with Marco and all that. That's
Yeah, so it's like when they're taking shots at each other, it's a lot more personal. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's like the gloves are off
Instead
now.
of just like, oh, you're a demon and you clearly shouldn't be with Star because you're a demon. It's like, no, they both know personal, intimate things about each other because they've been through a lot together. And so now it's just, there's a deeper layer to that whole thing.
Yep.
So nice job there.
And Jenna doesn't really help either with the whole commenting with Kelly. It's like, you're just mad because he's fighting for Star, not you.
I don't even like.
It's like not
I
helping
don't
Jenna.
even know why we're really. I mean, I guess I did. Like, it's pretty obvious, right? Like at the end of the show, it's kind of like the Ross and Rachel of it all. Like Star and Marco are destined to get together at the end. It's got to be, right?
I know, but this show has been known to subvert expectations before.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Star go for life, but still.
Oh, God.
That's me.
Yep.
Though I also honestly wouldn't be opposed to where they are now, though.
Yeah, so I thought this episode had a good balance between all the characters. No one character overshadowed the other one, which I thought was, it was very well handled.
Yep. I mean, and it had an interesting resolution too. It's like, and he saw that we were caring for each other. Nope, it was just Doug Midnight. He was totally gonna kill us.
Jacob, I gotta say the ending was very Toy Story 3-esque.
Yeah, and even with the Deus Ex Machina and everything.
Right. It's like they're all like holding hands. It's like, all right, I guess we're gonna die, but at least we gotta die together.
Yep. But nope, it struck midnight and the Stump's gone. Like, he was totally
and then it's like as if like, that's like literally all the characters that you see here, folks, just all get killed off, along with Moon and River. And then the rest of the show is just what, like Glossaric and Sensei and like Jackie, I guess.
and the mariachi band.
And of course, can't forget about Ferguson and Alonzo.
Nope. Just up there back there doing their own thing.
Right. And I guess the Diazes, like Mr. and Mrs. Diaz would, you could probably build a show around that.
Yeah.
It just becomes like a really dark show about them like grieving over like this horrible tragedy.
I think we're going too far into.
I think we are, but I don't know. I'm kind of going down like a psychological rabbit hole with this one.
Yeah, like a dark head canon.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Okay, so Jacob, I think that's a good indicator that we should probably move on to the next episode. So let me switch the image out. Alrighty, so we get Holiday Spellcial, which I really like the title for this episode.
Yeah, it's a nice play on words, actually.
So Jacob, as I said, when I first saw that, it was like, oh god, it's a I don't know, like maybe if I went back and rewatched the Spider with a Top Hat episode, I'd appreciate it more now, because we've gotten a lot more of these like out there fantasy type stuff with the show, but at the time, I just remember being so thrown off by that episode.
Yeah, I have to agree.
But I think this episode did it a lot better, especially because this episode had one hook that Spider with a Top Hat didn't, which was basically the whole eclipse of it all.
Yeah, I mean, the whole all-seeing eye, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool to see. Like these, I think they nailed the whole community of spells thing better here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're just like maybe because it's been established now, and maybe that's why it works.
It could be.
I mean, it just feels like a more like close-knit community instead of just like focusing on Spider, just like trying to fit in and stuff.
And I guess also just the fact that we've already had an episode like this, so it's not as out of left field.
Well, I mean, that does make sense in a way, and even though it's like maybe it's like a once per season kind of thing.
I could definitely see that happening. Yeah.
I mean, they happened for the Halloween special last year, and now it's happening for the holiday one this year.
Oh my god, you're right. It is both holiday specials. Oh my god.
What?
I said you're right. It is both holiday specials that the Spider with the Top Hat episodes have premiered in front of.
Well, technically, this one actually ties in closer to the special with the.
Oh, a lot closer. Yeah, much closer.
This one actually revolves around Stump Day. Instead of just like being randomly paired with Hungry Larry.
So this one has a really good trope in it, a very time-honored and well-worn trope, which is the office Christmas party.
Yep. They actually use the word office several times in this
right.
Like, it's definitely an office Christmas party, an office of spells, to say the least.
And yeah, like I said, it had an interesting kind of we got to see all the characters sort of like bouncing off each other and the tensions that would naturally develop in a workplace in a really kind of realistic way. I like all that.
Yeah, and the guy who's always like peeping over stuff and like not seeing eyes, like totally the guy's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Like the nosy one who. But in the end, he's also the guy who brings them closer together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not really that's not really spoiling much because that's kind of obvious. If
Well, I
obvious and
mean,
all that.
I guess if you're gonna talk about it as a spoiler, like this image that we have up here right now is a spoiler, so sorry about that.
Yeah.
Jacob, one of the things I want to hit on that I really wouldn't be surprised if it was an influence on this episode was the Mary Tyler Moore episode, which is, I believe, called Christmas and the Hard Luck Kid. Now,
I
this
mean,
episode was actually ranked by TV Guide back in the day to be the all-time greatest Christmas special. And it revolves around what we were just talking about, like the office Christmas party and kind of tensions in the workplace and all that. And like I said, it's got this like big legacy as like one of the all-time great Christmas specials. Like, to tell you the truth, I thought it was really good. I thought it was nice. I wouldn't put it up there like personally, but maybe that's just because I never grew up with the Mary Tyler Moore show. Like, my dad grew up with the Mary Tyler Moore show. Like, Mary Tyler Moore was like my dad's first crush, you know what I mean? So he probably feels a lot stronger about that episode than I do. But I don't know. It's just point being, I think a lot of the things that were established in that episode were kind of prevalent here. You know, just everyone kind of being jerks to each other around the holidays, but then ultimately making up and kind of reveling in the fact that they're all jerks.
yep. Let's be jerks. That's the ultimate lesson for the holiday, folks. Be jerks together.
No, but Jacob, that's essentially what the lesson of that Mary Tyler Moore episode was as well, which is, you know, back in the day, that was like really subversive for a Christmas special to say something like that. You know what I mean? So I think that's why that Mary Tyler Moore special kind of stuck around as long as it did and had such an impact. It was really one of the first Christmas specials on TV to subvert a lot of those things.
That makes sense, I guess.
Anyways, I'm sorry, I don't mean to get off track here. It's just the episode kind of very much reminded me of that.
I can see that though.
Yeah, and also this is kind of a test on my vocal cords because I've got a really bad sore throat. It might be developing a cold, so sorry about that, folks. If the next few podcasts you listen to are, you know, my vocal range is not at its best at this point. I'm sort of, anyways. Let's see, what else do you want to hit on with this episode, Jacob?
I mean, I just like it's actually. It was good to see like Spider the Top Hat in a way of like, in a way other than just like like he's just that one guy, you know. Like it actually like feels like I'm more of a warning community instead of last time.
Right, like it makes sense. It's sort of it's a much more natural. Like, all right, we spent a lot of time away from these characters. We're going to check back up on them, like essentially a year later. And, it's basically like, Spider with a top hat in the first episode he was in was like the new employee. And now he's kind of like the glue that holds the whole office together.
In a way, I do like that way of looking at it. There's really not much else we can go over. I mean, other than like the all-seeing eye becoming an actual a spell, which probably means the seeing eye was used enough to become a resident of the wand.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I thought the whole bit with, a Spider trying to work the seeing eye into the group and failing at it, like, that's a very relatable thing, Jacob. I mean, I think at some point or another, we've all either had that awkward friend or have been that awkward friend, who's just tried to be integrated into the group, but it's just not going well. And this episode captured that pretty well for me. I've been on both sides of the spectrum with that, Jacob. I have been the awkward friend, and I've been the guy trying to integrate the awkward friend.
My experience is sometimes it's like, oh no, I'm gonna be. It's like, okay, don't be awkward, and then me trying not to be awkward ends up making me awkward.
Yeah, essentially, right? Tis the curse we live. Am I right? Anyways.
Yep. That was actually nice to, like I said, it was nice to see him actually accept all-seeing eyes. Like I think all-seeing eye, like he's actually a very good non-vocal character.
Yeah, because you know what he kind of reminds me of, and this might be a weird comparison in a way, but it's almost a little bit like Bumblebee from Transformers, which by the way, I think Bumblebee from Transformers, like maybe one of the few, I don't want to say good things, but like tolerable things in that franchise where it's like, all right, I see what you guys are going with this. You know, he's kind of like E.T., but a car. All right, I like it. I like it. But anyways, you know, Bumblebee, he uses the radio to communicate, and you know, the all-seeing eye uses you know, just stuff that he's seen to communicate. And I think that's a really interesting kind of twist on a non-verbal character like that.
It is. It is. I do really. It's kind of interesting to see that kind of character and all that.
Alrighty then.
Can't really think of much else to say here.
Yeah, nope. And like I said, I'm sort of enduring this, so you know, don't want to go on too long with it. But thanks for joining us, folks. At this point, I really don't think we're going to be talking about any other current shows for the next month. I'm pretty sure they're all going to be on hiatus, like DuckTales, Star, Big Hero 6. We might get around to covering Milo Murphy, but at this point, we're so behind on Milo Murphy. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth the stress of trying to catch up on that at this point. If you guys want to see us talk about Milo Murphy, we're way far behind on it, so just let us know. I'll just, you know, if we get comments on Milo Murphy, we'll do Milo Murphy. How about that, Jacob? We'll let that be the deciding factor. We'll let the people choose.
Alrighty.
All right. Anyways, but we definitely will be diving into DuckTales in this, you know, in the winter hiatus. We'll be talking about the DuckTales movie, and, you know, assuming we have time, we'll also be diving into a few episodes of the old DuckTales show in our, you know, in our complimentary podcast, Discovery DuckTales. So self-promotion aside, Jacob, I thought this was a very fun episode. And thank you all for joining us. In the meantime, you know, stay tuned where things will get a little weird, a little wild. Yet again.